calling in the still of the night. Frequencies, fire, fuel cells ignite. Dark token shimmer, stars beyond flicker. The address which holds the evil unfolds. Strength in arms not quivering, evil never minting its hoard. Down this dark and dreary road, jackpots found their simmering. Hit the button, claim its share. Gravity hover in the cosmic air. Fuel cells burn, brightness lights the race. Dark matter tempts this risky embrace. Fuse run deep in this sequential daydream. Vaporize, hold an enticing hero's fight. Which will it be? Mystified in these crypto frequencies. This lottery spin phase by phase. Evil address real in half the days. Winning mounds of unscraped sits. A dormant prize in this cosmic pit. Minting windows, chance takes flight. Fuel cells bloom through the coded night. Burn it, keep it, your mind is such a mess. How long can this go on? Fuel cells burn, brightness lights the rays. Dark matter tempts this risky embrace. Chills run deep in this sequential daydream. Vaporize, hold an enticing hero's fight. Which will it be? Mystified in these crypto frequencies. Scrape button glows, this chance to seize the loot. Evil stash rolls to the next group. Bigger pots, the winners rise. Higher stakes light up the skies. 33 phases, the finite journey's arc. Pulse chain thrives through the endless dark. Holder's choice, the stars align. Anti-gravity's ours, by this the grand design. Fuel cells burn, brightness lights the rays. Dark matter tempts this risky embrace. Years run deep in this sequential daydream. Vaporize, hold an enticing hero's fight. Which will it be? Mystified in these crypto frequencies.
Hey kids, how'd you like that right there? Let me get back over here.
It's unbelievable, huh? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, there it is.
Did you create this yourself, or was it community?
This is from the community. AJ Rip City Cuts has basically been doing this while at work on his phone with AI, learning how to cut and edit. And of course, when he gets home at night, then he really geeks out. Hey kids, this is Pulse Ray Vision coming to you live from Quattro Cinco Studios in my mom's basement with a very special guest, Marc from The Forge. And Actuator is now Crowd News. Is that correct?
Curator is now Crowd News. Yes, exactly.
Curator is now Crowd News. Yes. So welcome very much to the stream here. We'll say hello to Ted. Ted's in the house. He's been here for a half an hour. He's probably gone to sleep or gone to make some coffee.
Hi, Ted.
House. Good evening. Crypto Cat has actually produced several poems for our community, which is pretty cool. And then Corey, an investor, he is actually someone who's also makes music for the community. And we play that usually. I'm sure we'll play that on the way out, Corey. But he's here for the alpha, and this has been a long time coming. We had a lot of streams back in the day when we were just getting first started with our Wishwell and with our mining phase, and we threw in just a lot of people were jumping in on the Forge and taking advantage of the community there to try and promote their product or find people to help them with their products. And then, we went through the last few months that we all went through and washed up on the shore. And so now we're building again, and you've been working a lot too. So if for those that don't know you, introduce yourself, tell us what you've been working on, and we'll just take it from there.
All right. Well, I'm Marc. Thanks again, Max, for having me. Always super nice to be on here. For those who really don't know me, right, I'm Swiss, but I've been living here in Phuket on the island for the last 5 years with my 2 daughters and now a newborn son, 3 weeks old. So that's really nice. We started the Forge almost a bit more than a year ago. We started talking about it and designing it. The idea was to build a launch pad that's better than all the other stuff out there. And the special thing about it is that there will be community review. So anyone, it's an open platform, right? So anyone can start a project, but to keep the scams away, people can review these projects. And in order to verify these reviews, you need to hold NFTs. So I'll maybe we'll see if we have time for that process, but obviously it's much more complex. But we have this quite sophisticated mechanism to make sure people can't, fake these reviews. That's the main thing. So we've been building for about a year now, and Max and I, we just discussed quite a bit about the pitfalls of developing tech, and we've had to pivot and go left and right and up and down many times. But I'll actually go through a little bit the reasoning for that. But I think we've gotten now, we just arrived at a very, very, very exciting time where actually everything is ready. So I'm going to present it on the screen, on the stream today, and show you guys how really anyone can launch a project on the platform now, how it works exactly, why it's better than anywhere else. And on top of that, we want to discuss that there is really right now in these few weeks massive revolution happening in AI, specifically in development, like coding. Like several of the AIs have gotten way, way, way better at creating apps, at creating smart contracts. So we are basically building the Forge to enable people to create their own apps, even without any coding knowledge, their own smart contracts. And really, not overnight, but maybe over a few days, and have them tokenized and really, are able to all these ideas that everybody has in their head, so they can just launch them. That's the introduction. Is any questions on that?
No, that's pretty good. You did have an NFT launch earlier, which rewarded some people airdrops of some of the projects that were created and were founded on Forge as well. And so, are those still selling out? Are you still on the different tiers of selling those out, or
yes,
are they on the marketplace yet?
They're still there, but we now just fixed the price to $200 per NFT, so there's no more tiers going on. I can quickly share my screen to just show how people can get them. I'll share my screen here. So to get NFTs, you can go to forgenfts.com. That's the platform. You can then click on NFTs and buy. And basically, you can just send stable coins to this address. And then within about 48 working hours, we will send you the NFTs back. So quite simple process. Any questions on this?
Yeah, this is great. And you can buy these on forgenfts.com. Are they listed on any of the marketplaces on Pulse Chain right now?
We don't list them ourselves. There might be some people who have listed their NFTs for sale. So I'm not sure. You'll have to check those marketplaces.
Okay, great.
Okay, let me close this. Yeah, so you wanna have a first question, or what do you want me to talk about first?
Yeah, well, I remember you did a big update because, as all of us do when we build something, we think that we know what the people want, and we think we know what'll work, and we think we know what can be coded on the blockchain. We're usually wrong about all three things to some degree, right? Sometimes we're way off on what people want, and some people, so we're pretty close, but we have to adjust. And over this journey, what were the things that you learned and the ways that you've pivoted since then?
Okay, great question. Thank you. So the initial idea of the Forge was that projects could come, they could present their project, they get reviewed, and when they're ready, they start a fundraiser, and then people, can send funds to a smart contract. We will create that smart contract. And let's say they want to raise $100,000 for, building something, which is very little money for building any technology, right? So let's say they want to do that. They then raise this 100,000. And now the problem is that many of these projects would run away with their money, right? So to prevent that, the idea was that that money is locked in a smart contract, and over a time period that they set, let's say every month or something, 20% gets released. And if they don't deliver, the NFT holders could block that release and keep the money back, right? So quite a basic idea. Now there were a lot of problems with that. The biggest problem was that we just didn't get. So the first thing we did is just set up the whole system, and you saw it already. I'll share the whole thing again later. But anyone can come and start a project. We didn't have the smart contract interaction yet. Connection yet, but even then we found it extremely hard to have any decent project sign up, right, for many reasons. The biggest reason is that all of crypto has very little good projects, and especially last year it was just memes, like scams everywhere, right? So in the whole market there were very few projects, and so we did have a few that come in. And those that came in faced all the same problems that all the good projects face. Like the legal problems are insane, right? So that costs already hundreds of thousands of dollars just to be legally compliant. It's one of the reasons there isn't many good projects in crypto, right? Then you have these other problems that it's much more complicated to find any good developers and so on. We then added this section where people could, develop and so on, could come and sign up, so the projects could hire them. But long story short, it was extremely difficult to find any good projects to sign up. Now, my personal dream was always that this is actually a little bit different. You don't have a solid project with a team and whatever coming and sign up and looking to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars. What I would like to see also for myself is that someone can come with a good idea, and you just post it there. There's no cost yet involved. And then the community can discuss it, and you develop this idea over time. The community can also follow this development. And as the idea matures, everything comes together, and then you sort of raise funds for it, right? That was the idea. We tried that a little bit here, you and I, right, on stream. We had these sometimes very funny incubation streams where people came and just had their funny ideas. That was also so that kind of worked. Like we had the Bet on Pulse project come out of something like this, and some other good project ideas as well. But then these projects ran into these typical problems. Again, legal issues. How can I get my team together? All of this startup stuff, right? So we realized it's a little bit of a dead end, and we don't want to continue pushing in that direction. Now, there was another development that happened a year ago and 2 years ago, and it was always in my mind as what I think the solution to this problem is. And that's there's one project specifically that's called it used to be called ATOR, now it's called Anyone Protocol. It's on, I think it was on Ethereum, and they did a Tor. They did, Tor, the browser, right? The dark web browser, basically, right? They did Tor node operator incentives, basically. That's what it's about. And what they did is they had a 4% tax on their token. And when they launched, from day one, they had $800,000 daily volume. So with that tax, they raised $1 million per month for the first few months of operation. And that was able to finance an insane amount of stuff, right? And that always stuck with me. That is such a much better way of funding a project than going and get upfront funding, because you can start with zero. You launch a token, people are excited, they can buy your token if they think your project is going somewhere. And all you have to do, you don't have to go on for VC funding, for whatever kind of thing. You just have to promote your project in the community. And the more trade volume you get, the more revenue you have. You don't have a runway, I'll raise $100,000 and when that runs out, I'm dead. It's not like that. You have a token, you just have to be out there, talk about it, promote it. And then you have real revenue that's ongoing that you can use to develop your project. And if you use those funds wisely and actually show results, the community is going to get more and more excited, and you get more and more revenue. You can hire more and so on. So I strongly believe in that model. So that's why so that is one pillar, basically, of what we've built now. So there's additional problems with the original idea. And that is, if you do it like this, you basically have people come in and they pre-buy your tokens, and then they will get them vested or whatever over time. That's really a dead model. That has led to all these inflationary tokens that start high, and then every day as tokens unlock, the price goes down, 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 down. And everyone has experienced that over the last 10 years, and no one's buying it anymore, right? Nobody, when they hear massive unlocks over a long time, nobody buys that token, nobody invests in that project. So that was another huge problem we have to fix. And we came up with a new tokenomics model. I want to do one step in between. So this used to be the old model, this inflationary tokens. The market kind of found a fix for that with these fair launch meme coins, right? Where they say, okay, there's no unlocks, everything goes into the market day one. And that kind of fixes that inflationary issue, but it introduces several new issues. First is it's very hard for projects actually to incentivize any community contribution or funding anything, right? Because all tokens are in the market. The second thing is that what projects then do is they snipe their own tokens. They buy massive amounts of their own tokens when the project launches as a fair launch. And then they have this problem is as soon as they start selling these tokens, they start dumping it, they're killing the project. Also, if you do that, and let's say your project goes to a few 100,000 market cap, you can actually sell some tokens and you make some money that you can do for development. If your project then goes really high to tens of millions of market cap, you don't have any tokens anymore, right? So it introduces all these really difficult things. So we believe that this tokenomics model that we've developed actually solves all of this. And it's basically this model that this ATOR already did, but slightly improved. So what we do is we created a token that is taxed, right? So sorry, I need to say one more thing on top of that. So the other thing that really was a revolution last year was Pump Fund, the introduction of Pump Fund, right? So nobody wanted anymore to go and enter some pre-sales and wait for ages for any tokens to unlock and blah, blah, blah. They want to go somewhere, click a button, token is live, and then they want to trade, right? On PumpFund, you can launch a token. Literally, you have to upload an image, give a name, and then you launch a token. You don't even have to pay for it if you don't want to, right? It's insane. So, but we believe that it has to be that simple, right? So we wanted to package all of this into a single product, and that's what we've done. So now what you can do on the Forge is you can go there, you can create a project. It doesn't create a token yet. Then people can review you, right? They can give you suggestions. You can improve your project. That gives you visibility, which you cannot get on PumpFund, right? So if people review you highly, you get up there. And then when you're ready, you can launch a token and a pre-sale for that. So instead of going live immediately, so projects don't have to snipe their own tokens and stuff like that, we have a 24-hour pre-sale window where anyone can send pulse to that address. And after 24 hours, that token goes live automatically by a smart contract. The whole liquidity gets deployed on the DEX. Not the whole, it's about 90% of the liquidity, but I'll get into the details when I actually show it. And then the token is live tradable and creates a 4% tax. Now, the 4% tax goes to the dev, so they can use that to fund their development, fund, community contributions, whatever they want. But here is where we suggest, and we will provide smart contracts to do that, is that you actually don't use all of that money for development, that you actually split it maybe half, and half of it you can lock up long-term, for 5 years, for 10 years. The original idea was to burn it, because that then creates actually a deflationary token. So it's not inflationary, it's not flat, it's deflationary, right? But when you burn tokens and the project kind of dies, you really lose access to these funds forever. The community does. So we recommend that you lock them up for 5 or 10 years and then have the smart contract unlock these funds over that time span to reward, project development, contributions, and things like that. So you now have a token that cannot be sniped, that has a fair launch, that gives you steady revenue over a long period of time, and that is deflationary. So people don't have to be scared of tokens coming into the market all the time. And for the devs, it's really good. They don't have to secure any tokens on the launch, because it doesn't matter if you're at 50K market cap, 500K, 500 million, it doesn't matter. If you get people trading it, you're going to get that revenue to fund your project. That's the pivot.
Well, and we have some people joining a little bit late asking, what is the Forge? Rich Sansbury was asking what the web page was, and so I put it here in comments for you guys. And then Just My Opinion says, hello, you popped up in my stream. May I ask, what is the Forge? How would you put the Forge into like a sentence or two?
Well, it's a decentralized launchpad, and I would say now specifically it's for deflationary fair launch tokens, which is the concept that I just explained.
Awesome. Didn't Forge have a sacrifice or something similar last year?
Yes, so we had an NFT sale where we used kind of a sacrifice mechanics for that. So people could send funds to the address, and then we would send the NFTs later. So it's still going on. NFTs can still be bought.
Awesome.
But yeah.
I burned my share. I'm down in dollars. Yeah, that's what the Forge does right there. We covered all of that. All right, already. We're done.
Well, but actually, I'll show you guys through it now. So we just launched this. It took, so yeah, we did the sell. We started last year. I already went through what didn't work. But once we learned what didn't work, everything that I just discussed took about half a year to build. And last week, it finally finished. So I can present to you guys now how it works. We can actually launch a token here on stream now together. So I'll share my screen.
Yeah, share your screen. I'll put it up there for you.
Okay, so let's go here to forgenfts.com. All right, so this is our website now. You can see there's a few projects on here. If you want, you can click into a project, and then you can see here these reviews and so on. That's just a general thing. But if you want to use it, you can go and create a project on here. Let's do that right now. What do you guys want? What do you want to call it?
Well, let's call it. Let's see here. Trying to think of a name that would inspire urgency or FOMO.
Okay, let's call it now.
Now.
Okay, there we go.
All right, now I like that.
Yeah, we can leave the symbol for now. We don't need a description, but here you could, say a token that goes up forever. Up forever. Okay, let's do that. Let's do an image. Okay, let me. I don't know. Let's maybe take this guy here as an image. Give it a second. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so description, let's leave this blank for now, and website, let's just use the Forge NFT for now. You can put your own website in there. You can put a link to a Google Doc, if you want to put a white paper or whatever you have to describe your project. I'll put here a sample description for now. Sorry. So you can see where that pops up. So let's also call the token just now. All right.
Yeah, I like that.
So we submit this, and boom, you have your project now here. Max, if you want, you can go in here and you can write a review for it. I'll write a quick review. Actually, what you can do is either a review or a suggestion. I'm going to write a review now and say, this is great. And I'll post this.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a 5-star review now. So the thing is, even though it has a 5-star review, if you go to projects, it doesn't show up here yet. It's down here. And that's because my review is not verified yet. Anyone can come in and write these reviews. So someone that has NFTs, and you can go here to your profile in your account settings to connect your NFTs that you have in your wallet. And if you have that, you will get a certain amount of super upvotes every day. Now, I cannot upvote my own review, of course, but Max, you could. If you have your NFTs connected, you can go in here and upvote this. And then my review will be enabled, verified, and then my project would pop up here at the top, competing with the other projects depending on how old they are, how many upvotes, how many ratings they have, and so on.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to log into the Forge, but I must have the wrong email here.
Yeah. Well,
I actually, if you scroll down, you can see, anti-gravity.
Yes, yeah.
And so I've got to figure out who I was logged in as when I put up all those reviews or the information about anti-gravity and read the reviews.
I can probably get that for you, not right now on stream, but I can look into the user list for you and find your email and send that to you later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you could do that. All of the NFT holders can do this. They can come and connect their wallet. Then they can upload the projects that they like or verify the review. So basically, if someone comes and writes a 1-star review and another one does a 5-star review, and then let's say 10 NFT holders upload the 1-star review, then this project will have a very bad score. Versus if they all upload a 5-star review, then that review will have much more weight. So that's how the NFT holders decide which projects get a good rating. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's say you've done this. Let's say you've got 20 reviews. Everybody loves it. Some gave you a good suggestion, right? You can maybe update that in your description or your white paper, whatever you have enabled. And now comes the really cool part. So now we can start a fundraiser. So this is your pre-sale down here. If you want to understand the details, just click on here, and that will give you all the details. So it says, you'll get your 4% transaction fee. It will explain some other stuff. This is actually a sample of the deflationary aspect. So we did a token, and then we just back and forth traded $10, one after another. And you can see after about 15 trades, the starting balance price is actually the same as the after purchase price of this activity. So it just shows that very strong deflationary aspect of the tokens. But yeah, so you can get all the information here. But let's start the pre-sale. And guys, this is going to be a live token, so anyone can contribute here if you like. We'll do get started. Just going to do this here off screen because I want to show my wallet to everyone. There we go. Okay, so that's all you have to do. Just the token name, the ticker. That's it. You click deploy. And then, okay, your wallet pops up over here. You just click confirm. Now, it is critical that you don't close this field for the time as this is going on, because the website is waiting to get information back from the smart contract to inject it into the page. If you leave this, you basically, you lose progress and you have to do it again. But you see, it only takes a few seconds, especially if you maybe put your gas fees a little bit higher. But this is it. So now you see the pre-sale is live. This is the address. For testing purposes, we only did 10 minutes now. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to send some pulse to this, maybe, I don't know, for $2 or something. I'm just going to go into my wallet. Again, I'm not going to, let me see. I think I can do it with this. This is my test wallet. No, this is not my test wallet. Okay, I can show it over here. This is what we'll show later, but I'll go into my test wallet here. So I just click send. I put this address that I just copied, and I'll put in here, I don't know, 10,000 pulse, so 25 cents. Mm-hmm. If it actually works. This continue button doesn't work. There we go. Okay, 25 cents. Okay, so we'll send this. Confirm the transaction. I've put the gas fees quite high just to make sure that this stuff actually goes through very quickly. Hopefully. Okay, there we go. So the transaction is confirmed. Now, if we go here, I can refresh the page.
Yeah. Look at that. There's another review.
Wow, there we go. So, okay, so I'm going to actually, so before that, you see that now contributed, there's 10,000 pulse contributed to that. If I'm the only one contributing, I'm going to get about 45% of the tokens. 45% of tokens get split up evenly over all the contributors, proportionally to what you've contributed.
So what happens to the other 65% of tokens?
About 45% goes into the liquidity pool together with the pulse. Mm-hmm. And then the final 10% is 5% goes to the dev, and the final 5% goes to the forge. So some of that gets distributed to the NFT holders. Right now we're doing 2.5%, and we're keeping the other 2.5% because we want to reward the top reviewers as well. So that's basically that. But we're still adjusting these numbers a little bit as we are testing as projects come out to make sure that these percentages are kind of to support the token and the project as best as we can. So I'm just going to super upvote you here. I agree that this is the best, right? I'm going to super upvote this. Boom. And now you can see that this review is verified. And if you go to the main project page, you can see now this is the #1 project here. So any one of you can create a project. You can share it in the Forge Telegram group and ask people to review it. And then when you're ready, you can start a fundraiser. So let's go back in here. So we can continue talking, and in 6 minutes we can come back, and then it will need a button click to finalize this, so everything gets deployed to the contract, to PulseX. But that's it. Do you have any comments or questions at this point?
If I know crypto bros, and I know a couple, I am a recovering crypto bro. Someone is slamming in 50 cents as fast as they can to front run you on this right now. They're like jumping in here, being like, "What's a website?" Trying to connect their wallet and everything. This is great. So I'm guessing you'll be beat out by someone throwing in $1 or something here.
Yeah, I mean, you get basically almost all the tokens if you put in it.
I wonder if I can do it with my. Oh no, I'm on the wrong browser. Okay, I do have a demo account too. Here I use for streaming. So let me open up the Forge here in this browser, and I'm going to give you some healthy competition here, because I don't want to brag, but I've got 50 cents to spare. So
just a little security thing. So we did it specifically like this, that you don't have to directly connect to the smart contract. You can just send funds to it. Because like everyone's scared of wallet drainers and all kind of crazy stuff, right? When you connect to a smart contract. So this is really as secure as it gets, being able to just send the funds to the address.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm logged in here. I see now, and it's thinking pre-sale ends in about 4 minutes. So I'm going to send Pulse, and Pulse is the only token that this one accepts.
Yes, only Pulse.
That's the one I'm always out of.
Yeah, well, because that's the one, it's going to get automatically deployed in the liquidity. So
okay, I got some Pulse here. So I'm going to copy this address. I'm going to flex. I'm just going to flex on you and send 2 whole dollars of Pulse here.
Wow. Yeah, maybe I need to top up, huh?
Yeah, that's what I said. It's healthy competition. This is what degens do. Right here. Degens are going to teach him, baby.
Right. I'll put another 50 cents in there. Okay.
All right. Oh, that's way too much. Let me go back here. Whoa, Max, calm down. Save all of your money for the Whisper Crash game.
All right, let's do it.
There we go. I spent $1.99, which used to get you a decent hamburger in America, $1.99. And I'll even spurge for the fast fee there. So it's submitted my $1.99 to here.
Which I put another almost $1 in there from a different wallet. So we actually have 3 holders on this. Okay, so you're still going to be the top dog.
I'll try. If I could send some other strange token to you, I definitely would.
Okay, so let's refresh this. Let's see what's going on here. How much we have. Okay, there we go. We have 120K Pulse contributed, and about 3 minutes to go.
Yep, I can see that.
So that's more or less it. Let's see if there's any. So while this is going on, maybe I'll show something really cool. And this is something we didn't even believe. And actually, you can see here the pre-sale is live. But when we came up with this model and we wanted to see how deflationary are tokens actually, if you have like a 4% tax on there, let's assume you would burn all of this. So we create a simulator where you can actually play with this. So the tokens are, 1 billion that get created. It's always the same. And let's say your starting liquidity that you raise through the pre-sale is let's say $1,000, which is, quite easy, very, very low, right? Easy to achieve if you have a fun project or a meme or whatever. And now here you can play around with your burn and your revenue tax. So let's for a second say we burn everything, right? And we keep none for ourselves. And let's say we do this for 30 days. And here comes the fun part, the daily volume. So there was a half a year ago, when we did the first version of this with not tax tokens, just normal fair launches, we did a Trump. There was a Trump meme coin, and someone shared it in some group, and within half an hour it had $10,000 volume. Just half an hour, everybody gambling on it, right? So if we say we get a daily volume of $10,000, which is very, very, very low, for in crypto, right? I mean, decent meme coins have a few $10,000 daily volume. Bigger ones have hundreds of thousands, and the really big ones have millions in daily volume. So let's say you get to 10,000 daily volume, and let's say you don't have any buy pressure. So the way this works is for every $100 buy, there's a $100 sell. So there's no buy pressure. We can run this, and now you can see that your price increase, even with zero buy pressure, after 30 days of this, just from taking tokens out of circulation, is 174x. I mean, this is crazy, and that's because this 4% tax takes out 92% of the tokens in circulation. It's crazy, right?
So that would burn 92% of that total supply.
Yes.
And that's burned, I guess. Well, 45% goes to the people that were part of the launch, right?
Yes.
And then 45% goes to you said the
liquidity pool.
The liquidity pool. And then the 5% is to incentivize. 5% goes to the dev who has been slaving away over a hot stove cooking this up. And 5% goes back to Forge NFT holders and possibly some of the reviewers as well.
Yes, exactly. So these tokens come out of the liquidity pool. Actually, it's a transfer tax. So anytime tokens get transferred, 4% is taken away. But most of those transfers will happen with the DEX interaction on PulseX, right? So they really get taken out of the pool. And let me go back here a little bit to show this in action. Sorry, I need to go to a different.
You're good. As you pull that, I want to hit these up. I took part in the sacrifice, but never followed up. So what should I be looking for to keep up to date with that? You'd be looking for Forge NFT, I believe. Is that right, Mark?
ForgeNFTs.com, and just come into our Telegram group, which you can find down here at the bottom of the page. And we've been very quiet for the last 6 months because we've been just building this and having our heads down. But now there's going to be a lot more updates coming very regularly. So just follow the Telegram group, and there's going to be a lot of updates there.
Okay. We got an air fryer sub going on, Rich says. Crispy Man's here, 5555 Hex, forged in fire. I love it. And Fast Abdul's here for the tech. Crispy's here for the fast. Rich is here for Canada. Crispy, is that an oxymoron? He's Canadian, not a moron. No offense, Fast. Stole my joke. We're in Pulse Chain. That's bragging. Yeah, being in Pulse Chain is bragging. And when the U.S. becomes the 11th province, we can all be here for Canada.
Nice.
Promise. If the U.S. becomes the 11th province, would we naturally start saying A at the end of every sentence? Just like an evolution. A. Okay. Here we go. So I kind of take chat here. Go ahead. So what does this chart represent?
So this chart is literally on DEX Screener. This was one of our test tokens that we launched. And then I just went in and just bought. I took 10 DAI and I just bought the token, and goes up. You see the price from here to here. And then whatever tokens I got, I sold. And because there's a 4% tax, you'll see that the price doesn't go all the way back to where it started. If you wouldn't have a tax, that's what would happen. It would just keep going steady like this. Boom, 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 right? But then I took another 10 DAI, bought again, and sold it all again, right? So you can see every time you buy and sell, the price ends up a little bit higher than it was before. And that's because you keep taking tokens out of circulation. Now, if the dev decides to burn this tax, it's literally impossible to go back to the original price, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it means with every trade, this just symbolizes any trade going on. So anyone who buys, once they sell, the bottom price will start creeping up. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So considering buy pressure is equal, the tax will move the price up.
Exactly.
Because of arbitrage.
Not because of arbitrage, because tokens are getting taken out of circulation. So you cannot sell all the tokens that you bought, because when you put the money in, let's say you should get 100 tokens, but you're only getting 96 back because 4% is taken out by the tax. So now so let's say you put $100 in, you're supposed to get 100 tokens back if the price is 1, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you're not getting 100 back, you're getting 96 back because 4 goes away. So now when you sell those back in the pool, you're not going to get $10 back. You're going to get $9, 95 back or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So with obviously you're not going to buy and sell immediately. You're going to buy, you're going to hope a lot of other people buy, and then you sell later. So you're still getting way more money than what you put in, because you want a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5x, right? But the X's you make, there will be like a 4% price on that. And if the project or the dev, however it's set up, locks that away or burns it, it just over time reduces the tokens that can go back into the pool. So if a project can start a token and can encourage a lot of trading through whatever they do, that will make the price go up over time, if they burn the tokens or if they lock them up over time. So that's why if you go back to this simulation tool that we have, you can play around and you can say, oh, you know what, maybe I'm only gonna burn or lock up 2% of the tokens, and maybe 2% I use for my revenues to build some kind of tech or something. And you can run this now, and now you see this drops a lot, 48x, and you can see you've actually made $6,000 revenue that you can use for marketing, for developing your project or whatever you want. And only 85% of tokens were locked away or taken away or burned. This price actually considers that when you get the tokens, your tax, you instantly sell it back. So that sell pressure is already included in the calculation. If you hold your tokens and you don't sell them, and the absolute maximum revenue that you could achieve is 41K, which is the value of the tokens after this price increase. So your real revenue will be somewhere between this and this, depending on when and how you would sell your tokens. Does that make sense?
It does.
So I want to show one more thing here, which is really exciting. I want to show a few more things, but what is really cool is this buy pressure. So let's say we put in, 100 buy, that's the max that we can put, which means for every $100 bought, people only sell $90. So there's some buy pressure. And now if we run this, you can see the price increases a lot, but it's actually not so much because of the burn anymore, because you can see only 26% of the tokens get burned now. And that's a very funny dynamic, because if you don't have so many people, if you have people dumping, like everybody selling these tokens, having just $1,000 buy pressure buys so many more tokens. So the 4% tax has so many more tokens that a lot more tokens get burned. So it's almost like a natural market making mechanism that prevents, when the token crashes too much, automatically any buys down there will lock up or burn a lot more tokens, if that's how the dev sets it up. But yeah, if you have a cool project connected to this, and I'll show you guys a project that I've been working on as an example project, and you add some utility to this, you say, in the future, people can use this token to do all kind of cool stuff. So then you have people really buying this stuff. Then the prices can really go through the roof by increasing this buy pressure. Do you have any questions on this, or otherwise I'll show the next kind of cool thing?
No, this is quite interesting. People can play around with this and kind of see what they think would happen in the future.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously this is a pretty extreme example because you're only raising $1,000 in initial liquidity. And if you put this up to, let's say 10 years, then the numbers, and let's put this to zero, no buy pressure, then the numbers, they just go ridiculous, basically. You can see that almost all tokens have gone. You only have a few tokens left in circulation. See, do we have that number here? Yeah, you basically only have like $1 million left in $1 million tokens left in circulation out of $1 billion. So the price increase is just ridiculous. But of course, that's considering this very, very low amount. So more realistic, if you have a good project, you might raise 100,000 in starting liquidity, right? And let's say your buy pressure. I don't know if I can put decimals in here. Let's try it out. Let's look at what happens over 30 days. If you get like $50,000 daily volume on your project that you raised 100,000. So now, of course, that effect is much smaller. So now you can see the X increase is only roughly 2, right? Because your starting liquidity was much higher, and you can see much less tokens have been sold, have been burned. But it's still only 30 days. If we put this up to a year, you can see then. Sorry, I need to edit this again. 100K, blah, blah, blah. 0.5. Run this. So you can see it's still a 20% price increase when you have a much more, equal ratio between liquidity, initial liquidity, and the daily volume. So this just really goes to show that that's what we wanted to achieve. It's like the opposite of an inflationary token. This is a deflationary token, and if projects can keep up the community interest and keep bringing new people into trade, the price will increase. So if investors believe that a project can do that, it's just way, way, way better than this old model. Yeah. Do you have any more questions on that?
No, it makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, so the cool thing is, as an entrepreneur, you don't need to think about any of this, tokenomic stuff, all of that, which is actually very, very difficult if you launch your own token, on any other platform, let's say Pump Fund, for example, because it's very difficult. How many tokens do you secure for yourself on launch? How do you even do that? When do you sell these tokens? You don't need to think about any of this here. You just create your project, like we showed in the beginning, create your app, your smart contract, whatever, and then the token will kind of handle everything for you. Now, the really awesome thing is you cannot do it yet automatically on here. You basically have to ask us. We will add the feature very soon that you can do it automatically, but you can change the address of the tax from your dev wallet to a smart contract. So then it's fully, trustless. So let's say that you have this idea of having some kind of staking protocol or something. So that, let's say, you create a token, and people who stake your token, they get a percentage of this tax. You can create that smart contract, and you can direct the tax directly to that contract, and then those stakers or the community, or however you want to do it, will automatically get the rewards of this tax. Any questions on that before I show a little bit how that can actually be done?
No, let's jump into the next part.
All right. So the really awesome thing is that in the last few weeks, AI has really taken massive leaps, and coding has just become way, 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 way better and way easier. So I'm going to show here an example project that I've personally put together, and I'm not a coder. We have coders in our team. I'm not, but I've developed this example project in a few days, without any coding help. which includes a smart contract, which includes a token, a test token that was created on the Forge, and everything works. And you can do that too. Anyone can do that now. So I'm going to run through this a little bit. It's got a weird name, Pulse Wallet. I still need to change that. And the reason for that is I first developed all the accounting things, connecting to the smart contracts, buying and selling tickets, and so on. But the app is a polling app. So anyone can create polls, and they can buy tickets to vote on these calls. And then the winners, meaning the ones who voted on whatever was the winning vote, will get the share of that prize pool. So I'll run you through that. First of all, we can buy tickets. Let's say we're going to buy 10 tickets here. So you see the smart contract pops up. I need to first, accept the spending cap. So this is running this test token. This is a token that we created via the Forge, and there's really easy ways to integrate that into these websites. I'm going to confirm this. Okay. You can see I have like 20,000 plus tickets, but as soon as this is processed, I'll have 10 more tickets. Let's wait for this to happen. All right, so this is successful. You can now go to your dashboard, boom, and you can see, okay, I bought another 10 tickets, right? And I can use that now to create a poll. Let's say here, what's better, dark or hex? Okay. You can describe something. You can embed a YouTube video if you want, and let's put the options here. And let's make that poll expire in 2 minutes. It's a test poll. You can generate here let's do this. You can generate via AI an image that you can add to this poll. Let's use this image, boom. I want to reiterate, this was created from scratch by someone who has never coded anything before. So it's really ridiculous what you can do these days. So we're going to create this poll. Boom. So the poll is here now. I'm going to vote on it. That costs me 1 ticket. Okay, and that's recorded now. So this vote will run out in another minute. We can come back to when that happens. I'll just show you.
And you set that time, correct?
I set that time. Yes.
Awesome.
So, if you wanted, you could go and create an account on here. You could buy some tickets, then you can vote as well. Anyone can. And obviously these, we can have really fun polls about very fun stuff going on here.
So what's going on with SpongeBob and Trump?
There we go. Yeah.
Right there.
View results. Let's see who would win. Okay, so actually no one had voted for that. There was a test. So all of this are very testy polls, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know who you think would win.
I think SpongeBob would win.
You can't beat him, right? You're just punching into a sponge, right? So,
yeah, you're punching into a sponge. Like it's like someone who already has brain damage. Actually, that could go either way. I'm just saying, like, it seems like SpongeBob is much more indestructible than I don't. But then again, he dodged a bullet, so Trump seems pretty.
Yeah, he'll dodge everything.
Invincible too, man.
So you see, the poll has now concluded, and the winnings were distributed. You can go back here, and actually, if I go to my dashboard, I can see that I got 90 so every ticket is basically worth 100 test tokens. I got 90 out of the prize pool, and I got 10 because 10% goes to the poll creator. So now there's
in the poll, if you get people really going in there, and like for instance, the election would have been great, right? Yes. The presidential election, you could put that out there, and then that person that created the poll that got used, they would get 10% of the tickets.
Yeah. Yes, I'm going to add functionality in here that you can share this on Twitter and stuff like that. So hopefully, there's some polls that can go viral. So if you get, thousands of people voting on your poll, that 10% is pretty good, right? Yeah, so that's all that. I'll spare you the details of all the rest. Basically, you can then withdraw your winnings and so on. But I'm just showing this to show you guys, like, things are going to change, this year. Like, this was the dream already for years, that you could just go and you could write some prompts and then it will spit out an app for you. And in the last few weeks, this has become possible. So this is where we really think the Forge is it's like the perfect platform. It's exactly the right thing in the right time, because you can now have an idea for your app, just an idea. You post it here. People can write suggestions. You can improve your idea. We actually want to add a AI support in here as well, that can give you ideas as well. The community can also upload the AI's ideas, so you can improve your project. And once you're ready, you can create your token, you can raise your funds, and then you can use that to generate your app using AI, using these really, really advanced systems. And then you deploy that. And what you can do is that the tax of this token that you have goes directly into that contract. What we want to do on the polling app is that this 4% tax goes into the contract that we already created, and it gets locked up over 10 years. But every month, 1/120th of that gets distributed to some lucky winners, almost like a lottery thing. So every time you play a poll and you win, that gives you some lottery entries for the really, really big prizes as well. And the more people trade this token, the more tokens get locked up, the more deflationary it becomes, the bigger and bigger these prize pools get. So those are some really innovative, cool new ways you can just enable any kind of app that you want to create with these kind of deflationary tokens.
Is the timer always 5 minutes, or can you set the timer to what you want on the pre-sale?
Right now it's 10 minutes. That's just for testing purposes to show it here. We're going to set, after this, we're going to set it to a day. So it's 24 hours. I do think we might want to have two options. We don't want to give people too many options, because then, things get weird. But we might do the 24-hour option, and then we'll do like a flash option as well, which might be only like an hour. So people can do this kind of flash pre-sales.
Yeah.
I think those will be the only two options.
So did this show the distribution of these test tokens, the now tokens that we created?
No, it didn't. And actually, it doesn't yet. We can add that. But let's actually finalize this now. Okay. So let me go over here. I'll do that off screen.
Let me see here. Okay. Pre-sale ends. I don't have the connect one here, but I might.
No, that's only me. So the creator needs to do that.
No, mine says connect wallet to finalize pre-sale.
Oh, you can. Okay, yeah. I forget some of the details sometimes, but so anyone is allowed to do that. It'll cost you some gas fees, right? Because it's a more complex smart contract. But yeah, anyone can finalize. Once that happens, all the tokens get distributed.
It's cost me $1.11 to do this, and I invested $2. Remember, like $1.99 was my investment. So now my investment has actually gone up to it's.
So you're doing it? Are you doing it? Then I'm not doing it.
Yeah, but here we go. So here's the contract.
Okay.
Here's the pair on Dex Screener. And it's paired with the money that we put in it originally, correct? Yes,
exactly. 90% of the funds. I think, again, 5% of the pulse goes to the creator and 5% goes to the Forge. I need to see the exact details. They're up here. But it's something like that. 90% goes in there. So
are you showing the screen right now, or should I show that screen right now?
I'm showing the screen, but you can show your screen if you like.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's we've got the Dex token, Dex Screener button there, and the pair, which is all zeros right now. But
are you going to show your screen? Or?
Oh no, I was just looking at yours. Yours worked fine. I just didn't know if people were
Okay,
seeing
okay,
that.
I'll share my
So
screen.
when I did that, okay,
Yeah.
cool. So
So this,
it has a 000 address right now. So I'm guessing it's not uh,
it's not
live.
updated yet. I
Yeah.
think that will now it's probably updated. Yeah, there you go. It's updated now.
Okay.
Those things that contract takes a while to execute.
Cool.
So
So let's take a look at that pair on Dex Screen, because as you said earlier, people just want a token that they can buy and sell as quickly as possible.
So we actually got a sniper in here. Someone put in 100 wrap pulse and got 400,000 now.
Mm-hmm.
But so the first thing you can do is just add this to get the contract and add this to your wallet.
Mm-hmm.
I keep doing this with my, let's see, where were we? Keep doing this with my wrong wallet. Okay, let's go here. So I'm gonna add this to my wallet here, import tokens, paste this now. Okay, next. And you see I got this many, right? 3 million about, I think. So I'll import this. Okay, and I got my tokens now.
And this is on everything here is on Pulse Chain, correct?
Yes, it's all in Pulse Chain. So
Awesome.
I'll go to Pulse X. Okay.
Yep, it's showing up as the now token in my wallet
Exactly.
as well. I just added that there.
So now we can trade it. Let's see, maybe I'll sell a little bit first.
And I have 306 million followed by all sixes, like complete sixes all the way down.
Yeah, because we're only 3 people in there, right? So it's okay. So I'm gonna sell, let's see, 10,000 of them. Okay, 10,000, and I'll want some DAI in return. Let's see if that works. Swap. Confirm swap. Confirm that.
I like the fact that you just click on the Dex screener face.
Okay, let's confirm this. You might have to increase your slippage because of the tax to make it work. Maybe I add the DAI.
There we go. Yeah, there's the price right there. May not show up reading on Dex screener for a while.
Yeah, well, it showed up for me already. So
yeah. Oh no, I mean like sorry, in the wallet, my OKX wallet. So it's showing up. The amount is showing up. It doesn't have a monetary value yet, so it's probably going to take a second to get that price feed from Dex screener.
Yeah. So here you can see the first SPY from the sniper, and you can see my first sell of 10,000 now, which got me 2 wrapped pulse.
Whoa. Settle down, Mark.
Yeah.
Don't go too crazy there.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the liquidity is $5 and the market cap is $6. So we're putting some pretty deep water right now as far as trading goes, where the liquidity is almost as high as the market cap.
Yeah, exactly, because we're putting all the liquidity in there, right? So you don't have a ton of tokens on the side.
Wow. So it kind of starves the bots pretty much that we've seen infest some of the pre-sales on Pump.Fun and Pump.Tires.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the full circle basically. That's everything working. So maybe I'll stop sharing my screen. Let's move all of this stuff away. Okay.
That's a cute picture.
Thanks.
Your
Yeah.
best.
To
As I, as
daughters.
I, as I talk to your children, I apologize. Let's see here. Hexato says taxes will save us. Hoy mates, Texies in the house, or death will save us. Death or taxes. Love it. We all love taxes. He is the one I think they're talking about. Donald Trump dodging bullets. 100%. Shh, don't tell fast. Pulse revision in the event all your packages get sent overseas and stuck in customs. This stream doesn't count towards our little side game. TikTok bananas. Pulse revision. Are you using your Joe KX wallet? I am using my Joe KX wallet. Crypto Cat says time for bed. I hope you get a good evening. I know that this is late. Oh, this is very late for Crypto Cat. Crypto Cat actually came over and hung out with us during our last lottery live stream that we did for Anti-Gravity, and we had to pump him full of Kona coffee to keep him up till like 10 11 o'clock at night. He really hung in there. I was proud of him, and he is our poet laureate for our community. So shout out, get some good Z's there, CryptoCat 46. I did want to say, out of the projects there on the Forge, a few of them stood out. Project Pi, I was able to meet those guys in Vegas, and they've got a lot of really cool stuff going on. Actuator, of course, Actuator Finance is something that has turned out to just be a real monster. I think in Pulse Chain. And the Pulse Bets, I'm not sure where those guys are at. I know they were looking tied up in legal issues and whatnot.
Exactly.
They're in one of our groups that we talked to, so I'll have to get an update on them. And then of course there's this little crazy thing called Anti-Gravity Project, which has been weathering the storm better than most. But as of today, we've got over 34% of our entire token supply in the treasury going into our NFTs. And we still have 43% locked up in the evil address. That is a smart contract that's going to be feeding the lotteries and feeding the treasury. So it's amazing what came out of the original Forge. And what the community attracted in Pulse Chain. And so it'll be really great to see where we go from here with these improvements and the I don't want to call it course correction because it sounds like we're on a ship at sea. But you've definitely taken some feedback and said, let's try this. And it's been a very almost scientific method experiment that you've kind of taken to crypto, which is very, very interesting. I like that.
Yeah, thanks. No, it's called the lean startup approach, where you create your MVP, your minimum viable product, you put it out there and you see if it works or not, and then you build on that. And we've seen the biggest problem is getting people to start projects and start good projects. And the best projects we had on there was Actuator, was, your project, but you guys have been building for a long time, and you've invested a lot of your own money, right? So you don't get those projects. They don't just come flying by, very, very rare,
Yeah.
So to have projects actually get started on there, or have well-funded projects come and build real tech and everything, is very, very, very difficult and very unlikely. So we needed to pivot, and it is what people love in crypto is this one-click button, and stuff happens. That's what pump funds show. Yeah. So
they need that dopamine hit.
When
dopamine hit.
So we needed to do something like
that out the hard way by finding out people don't want to wait around 11 days for a lottery. They want something to do now. They want to degen now. They want to play these random number generator games, or like you have the prediction game. They want to see, results and have more action to keep their attention. So it's great that you definitely honed in on that, and that you're, working towards that. After taking a break off and getting down and working so hard, how do you guys plan on re-energizing the community and building the community back up and getting that momentum back?
Yes. So, I mean, I'm hoping to go back onto a lot of streams just like this, to present what we're doing. I, I just think it's gonna go viral, to be honest, because I know everybody has their ideas of this app or that app that they want to do. And I mentioned this to you before the stream. I think these latest AI improvements now make this possible. And our Launchpad now makes this possible. So I just know so many. I mean, many of my friends, many of my network around that know what we're doing. They can't wait to start the project on the Forge. It goes from dating apps to DeFi contracts, anything. Everybody has their idea. I want to do this. And now you can do it as I showed with that example project. And actually, what I would like to propose to you is that maybe either weekly or every 2 weeks or something like that, we maybe do another stream, and we'll teach the people how to do that. It's very, very easy. You can create very good smart contracts with AI now, and I'll show you how to deploy them, how to connect them to the tax. We have some very cool auditors as well that are very affordable, very fast, that can audit these contracts for you as well. So we want to show that so people can do that. Maybe another stream, we want to show the different apps that you can use to create full-blown web apps, like very complicated stuff, that only takes a few days now. But that's really, I think, how we want to energize everyone by starting to pump up projects, not by ourselves, like have the community come out with really, really cool projects that each of them have a potential to go viral. I mean, even our fun little polling app, if there's a fun poll in there, that can go viral, right? Mm-hmm. So it's really, I think we are the right thing at the right time now. This latest AI coding evolution is really playing super well into our hands. I believe that our tokenomics that we have, because as an entrepreneur going through this myself, we started Curator 3 years ago with this very basic inflationary idea, which is copied Bitcoin more or less, and that's how everybody comes in. And it takes you like a year to realize nobody wants that, and it actually doesn't work anymore now these days,
Right.
And then it took another year or two to see everything that's out there and come up with this model. So I think we solve so many problems for entrepreneurs or for would-be entrepreneurs or whatever. You don't even have to be an entrepreneur. You can be a musician, and you can use the token to fund yourself. And this means you don't have to think about tokenomics and all that stuff. You don't have to think about sniping. You don't have to think about market making. The token does everything for you. You just do what you want to do. You keep the community going and excited and trading your token, and you give some utility down the line to that token, and then you can do whatever you want, basically. So I think by going and really pushing that, I think we'll re-energize the community quite a lot.
Awesome. Smoke Snyder says, I got here a little bit late. I'm already impressed. Kona coffee is great. And another thing that I would tell you that is impressive as can be is that we've got, in crypto, there you can be a faceless founder, you can be an anonymous founder. We've seen some projects overcome that hurdle, but you honestly have to do 4 times more work if you're not going to show your face and show your team and show who you are and what you got at stake, because people know that you're much less likely to try and rug pull, to try to scam, try to do a backdoor or something to somebody. And so, just showing up is going to make a huge difference, showing your face and going on some of these streams and updating people. It's going to really bring a lot of attention and credibility to you. So good on you, man. Good catching up. And we were supposed to stream last week, and I even put out, hey, we're going to stream, and then we didn't end up streaming, but I'm glad we waited this week because we got a better update and we got to see some more functionality that you guys have been putting together. So it was worth the wait.
Well, thanks a lot. No, it's always amazing, and super fun to come on your show. So thanks so much.
All right. Well, like I said earlier, we are going to go out on Korean Investors rap called Dark Matter, where he basically explains some of the tokenomics through a very catchy tune. So we'll jump into that, and then we'll probably that'll be it. But thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be on stream tomorrow as always. Maybe tomorrow night. We'll just see what happens and updating you. There's only like 6 days left to mint your J4 fuel cells, and we're almost at 100,000, which I thought we would be between 80 and 90,000 mints, and we're at 100,000. So wow, we're seeing like that whole supply get locked up, which was the intention. We just didn't know if people would play the game with us. And so check in on that. And you don't have enough dark, you don't have enough fuel cells. What you do matters. You matter, and you are worthy of the desires of your heart. Remember that, folks. And we will catch you on the next one. Before we go ahead and shout out your socials, your Telegram, anywhere that people can go to dig into this testnet right here.
Easiest, just go to forgenfts.com. You can see it on the website there, and then just scroll down to the bottom. There's link to the Twitter, link to the Telegram. That's the easiest way to get there.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I almost forgot that. All right, here we go. And this will just take up the middle of the screen, so they'll be seeing me bop on my head to it. But if you want, I can drop you into the green room as well. You want to stay on screen for the song, or do you want to just hang in the green room?
Up to you.
All right, we're gonna do this. We used to do the awkward wave goodbye. We haven't done that in a while because I just haven't had a lot of guests. But in this one, we'll just bop our heads to Korean Investor Dark Matter. Here we go.
Awesome.
Yes. I'm talking AGP. Anti-gravity project, I respect, staying true to the tech. We got the evil address and the pink Miss Will. Got the dark matter token going up, I can tell. Hey, I can tell this is the start of something fresh. Shout out Hex Revision and on the Hex, yes. I confess, Hexicans don't stress, cause as a community we one of the best. So tell me, are you in, or tell me, are you out? Do you want to win, or do you chase the clout? What is this really about? The treasury and lottery. If you mint dark tokens, you can get a part of it. So how does it work? Let me explain. First you buy the dark token, now you're in the game. Then you mint the dark and get a fuel cell. That's an NFT, one that earns yield. As long as you have it, it feels like magic. But if you vaporize the NFT, that's tragic. So most think crypto is a game. Are you here for the fame, or here to make a name? See, Hexicans reign, we create our own lane. I thought I told you, we the new financial gain. AGproject.io with the flow. And if you know what I know, then you know what I know. That's how it go. Something like to support the team, the dream. Public service announcement, t.me/anti-gravity saga. Hit the Telegram. Tap in. It's for y'all. I'm talking AGP, anti-gravity project, I respect, staying true to the tech. We got the evil address and the pink Miss Will. Got the dark matter token going up, I can tell.